it depends on the length of time. So you don't necessarily need to make another swap. So part of it is whatever's easy that you're onboarding through. So if you're moving in from like Binance and BUSD is simpler. If you're going to set a limit order and you have a limited time frame, so like if you're setting a limit order and you're just like, hey, I'm trying to capture the day, essentially, like you're just DCAing in using a limit order for order execution, then it's less important because you have less exposure. And sometimes slippage gets into some people's head too much. If you're moving in a couple of grand, you're not going to get slippage on any of these things. It doesn't matter to you. So that's not meant to be the grade. It's just like, just do it simple and easy and don't try to get cute and listen to some of this extraneous arguments. Like if you're moving in 5 grand, set a limit order so you have good order execution so you don't get MEVBot attacked and everything's nice and simple there. So whatever's simple, the longer you're going to go, you can, again, I'm going to lean on LUSD. So there's plenty of liquidity there. And the other is sometimes people when it comes to order execution, you don't have to have that much liquidity directly with the pair you're looking for. So LUSD's primary pair is USDC and Hex's primary pair is USDC. So even if LUSD and Hex do not have that thick of a pairing, the router is going to run it through and you don't have much of an issue. So you can use, especially like if you're using a good DEX aggregator, Matcha, 1inch, CowSwap, any of those, you can use your preferred method. So again, so for example, if I was like, hey, I've got 20 grand, I'm going to move it in, I'm going to hold it in crypto, and I'm going to DCA in, I'm going to set a handful of limit orders. That's something where I'm going to move in on whatever's easy, where I can minimize fees and all this type of onboarding issue. Then I'm going to swap into LUSD because I'm going to say that, hey, I'm going to have a couple of weeks of exposure here possibly. And then I'm going to set my limit orders where I want. And because LUSD will route through without you having to do it in any of the Uniswaps or whatever DEX the aggregator goes through, you can just use LUSD and you'll get perfect order execution.
The second part of the question I posted as well, just you kind of elaborated, but yeah, funny, Jim, anything to say on that?
When you have a longer term horizon about how long you're going to be invested in anything, your on-ramp, off-ramp doesn't make as much difference to me. Your stablecoin position doesn't make as much difference to me. Surely you want to exit. Like I rotate between real estate and usually it's cycle instead of swing. I don't even do really swing trading. So like if I say, I'm looking at a property, I want to buy an apartment building. It has, this amount of time where I need to show in the bank account, I've got source of funds of 90 days. It's been sitting in there, as 90 days. Then I'll look at like what Walrus was saying about setting either a limit position or something along those lines. And as it gets eaten through, just because I want timing later, to have access to that capital. And then I'm going to have a 90-day wait while the purchase of a property occurs. And then maybe even after that, 4 to 5 months, as far as it being tenanted before I can rotate out equity again into crypto. Like I'm looking longer term, most of my crypto experience. And so your stablecoin position or your, for Hex's origin story, a lot of the liquidity was tied to USDC. And it was simply, and in my view, is because most of the people that were participating in it were buying it off the shelf and they wanted something that they could relate to that was USDC dollar narrative, right? Yes, it's called a stable coin when it's Tether and it's called a stable coin when it's DAI or LUSD or these other things, but they were foreign in the mind of the person that onboarded through Coinbase. They onboarded through Coinbase. They had a familiarity of that their wire equals this amount of money. The price familiarity gave them some sense of stability in cryptocurrency or what their value of their bag is worth, things like that. So I think that a lot of the tie over the origin of since 2019, 20, and 21, tying so much to USDC was partly because of that familiar for the retail to participate, right? And then now it's gotten more sophisticated in its balancing because you have other things or its pools, other things, whether it's Hadron or other fairly large liquidity pools that give you some idea of price. And you have more educators about what is this stablecoin, what is cryptocurrency, what is DeFi, what is Hex, what is PulseChain, all these other things. Because, in 2019, the people that were commenting was Richard. And outside of that, there was Telegram. And then outside of that were a few people that came on Twitter. Like now we have a lot more understanding as a community, and we're better educators across the board and I think that allows for diversity about what is stable paired with the asset that you're looking to climb.